contest in the 52 kilo men's flyweight division. Judges at ringside from Kazakhstan, Hungary, Korea, Algeria and Colombia. Introducing in the red corner, representing Northern Ireland, Ruairi Dalton. In the blue corner, representing Tanzania, Ezra. Referee for this one from Azerbaijan, Roshan Husseinov.
The man wearing red in this 52 kilogram flyweight contest has the advantage of having already boxed in this Commonwealth Games tournament. That's Ruairi Dalton, 24 years of age, from Northern Ireland, whereas his opponent, wearing blue, representing Tanzania, is competing in his first contest of the championships, having received a bye in the opening round. That's Ezra Mwanjwango, two-time national champion of Tanzania, having taken the title for the last 2 years. This year at flyweight, last year it was up at 56 kilograms bantamweight. So he's dropped down to compete in these Commonwealth Games. He's got a very experienced operator in front of him, the reigning champion of Northern Ireland from earlier this year in the flyweight division. Dalton's first contest was a unanimous point decision win over Zambia's Christopher Katanga. That was yesterday. It's being warned for punching with the inside of the glove rather than the correct knuckle part of the glove. So he's had the opportunity to experience the ring, the atmosphere, get to grips with the feel of the canvas. He's moving beautifully both left and right, keeping his back away from the ropes, but using the perimeter of the ring, keeping Mwanjwango in hot pursuit, but he yet to this point hasn't been able to close the distance with anything like sustained effectiveness. Here's a good left jab as Dalton got his feet tangled up. Good right hand to finish that flurry from Dalton.
I thought Dalton boxed very well yesterday. What's key to his success rather is his movement. He hits and he moves. He tries to draw the lead of his opponent. He goes back with fast counters, like the work with the left hand, the jab. But it's his movement that's the key, and that can frustrate opponents, make them come over the front foot. That's all part of his game. As long as he can do that here, I don't think he'll have too many problems. This Tanzanian, as you say, coming into his first contest, a bit slow on his feet, sampling the atmosphere for the first time, and to have a bye is not a good thing in this type of tournament. You want to get up and running, get the nerves out of the way. And the boxers here now, you know, they should be able to go 4 or 5 times, no problem at all. So the quicker you get into the tournament, the better, really.
Mwanjwango covered up, repelled that attack by putting his head around, his gloves around his ears. Right hand from Dalton did get through though. Good right hand from Mwanjwango as he walked his way forwards. Right hand and then changed direction from Dalton. Constant, incessant movement. Hitting and moving Ruairi Dalton, and has probably done enough to take that opening round.
Oh, no question. Took the opening round there. In my opinion anyway, the movement's good. His corner will be pleased. Works well with the jab. Straight right hand there, that was good. And then he's back to safety again. Watching his opponent come forward, adjusting his feet, and he's in and out. That's the way to box in this type of a contest, when you've got an opponent in front of you that's got slow feet. Dalton boxed very well there. Let's have a look. Yeah, all the judges have gone for him. Totally agree with that.
There's that tattoo of his profession and his surname on that left arm. 4-time bronze medalist in the Irish National Championships, to go with his Northern Ireland national title from earlier this year. As we move into the second round, Ruairi Dalton continues to move brilliantly in this second bout of the Commonwealth Games for him. Opened his account yesterday with a convincing win over Christopher Katanga of Zambia, where he exhibited and personified, exemplified the art of hitting without being hit. Hitting and moving wonderfully during the course of that opening round bout, and he exhibited that again in the opening round. Good right hand to the body, right hand from Mwanjwango, just grazed the chin of Dalton.
Yeah, it's fairly easy. This is for Dalton at the moment. He's far superior in terms of his movement. The Tanzanian, if you look at his feet are very flat-footed. That's why he's struggling to move at speed. He hasn't got that back heel off the floor, so he hasn't got full mobility really, pushing off from his calves, and that's what you've got to keep your back heel off the floor, move at speed. Then his feet are very flat-footed, and that's why he's just struggling to actually cope with Dalton's movement. He can't catch him. Too slow on the feet.
Falling short once again with that right hand is Mwanjwango. And Dalton, for the most part, presenting anything but a stationary target. On occasion, he's still, for just a nanosecond, when he's changing direction from right to left or vice versa when his back touches the ropes. But generally, this is what Mwanjwango is trying to pin down. A fluid, moving target who's just peppering him with straight shots. Here's a left hand that gets through from Mwanjwango. But again, look how he's continuing to fall short, just punching air here at the SECC. Is Ezra Paul and Mwanjwango. Heads came together, and then he was tagged by a right hand, though, was Dalton.
The only way that Dalton will get caught here, literally, if he holds his feet or he's made to miss. And the Tanzanian comes back with that right hand. That's not a bad shot. So Dalton has just got to keep the movement going. This man in blue, as I said, flat-footed, and he's struggling just to cope with Dalton's movement. But stand and trade with him, Ronald, and then you bring him into it. Looks a fairly strong guy, like most of the African nations here. Got some strong boxers, powerful men, prepared to take a shot to land one, and he had to do it there.
Beautiful right hand from Dalton. Good left hand to the pit of Mwanjwango's stomach in these closing seconds of the second round. But Dalton, you get the impression he's barely out of second gear here. Mwanjwango continues his hot pursuit, but he's having minimal success in closing the distance as Dalton continues to play the artful dodger and just stay out of range of the Tanzanian punches.
Yeah, the man in red is probably already thinking of the next round and saving his energy. That would appear the case here. A couple of double jab right hands. Superb little combination again from Dalton. Keeping the movement going. Finishes that sequence with that right hand. Really, he's in a total comfort zone, the Northern Irishman. Let's have a look at the scores. All the judges have gone for him again.
Well, given the gulf in experience and ability, apparent ability that exists between these two boxers, it really is difficult to see what Ezra Paul Mwanjwango can do to turn this in his favour. As we go into the third and final round, Ezra Paul Mwanjwango is trailing by 2-0, and he has barely laid a glove on Ruairi Dalton. Of course, there is always the possibility that he could land a bout-ending punch, but in order to do that, he's got to catch the man first. There was a good right hand, and another one. But as Richie Woodall has already pointed out, the only time he appears to have any modicum of success is when Dalton elects to stop moving. Got tagged with a right uppercut, did Dalton. And this is a completely different tactic we're seeing from the Northern Irishman, and he's probably been hit as often as he takes another left-right. He's probably been hit as often in the opening 40 seconds of this round as he has for the entire preceding 2 rounds.
It shows you that if you get the tactics wrong, then you bring your opponent into it, you start boxing to his strength. What Mwanjwango needs is a man standing in front of him to trade, and then he'll have some success like he's having here. That's not too bad either. If Dalton gets on his bike again, then the Tanzanian will struggle. It's just fairly playing in simple tactics.
Another right hand over the top from Mwanjwango just a moment ago. There's a long left. So left-right from Mwanjwango, and in electing to hold his feet and trade at mid and short range, Ruairi Dalton is coming off a distinct second best in this first half of the final round.
You see, when you're moving on the back foot, you will definitely frustrate your opponent, who then tries silly shots from silly angles and commit himself, and then leaves himself open. That's what's happening now. Mwanjwango is really going for it, but he's not really hitting much, is he? He's being committed all the time with shots, leaving himself open. But stand and trade with this guy, and he's got half a chance.
Much brighter opening to this third round from Mwanjwango, but that is probably because of the tactics elected by Ruairi Dalton, and rather than gliding backwards and left and right as he did for the entirety of rounds 1 and 2, he's choosing to box in the manner that he's exhibiting now, holding his feet, firing off straight shots. And Mwanjwango got through with a beautiful left hook.
Yeah, silly man Dalton here, standing and trading, and a better round for Mwanjwango. You've got to give it to him. He's very limited, but he's strong. He just keeps coming forward. He's determined. He knows he's losing, and he's still ambitious.
There's another left hook. When Dalton got on his bike momentarily, now he's pinned in the neutral corner. Mwanjwango is teeing off. Not much success, but plenty of leather flying in the direction of the man from Northern Ireland.
Well, he probably wishes there was another 3 rounds here now, Mwanjwango, but it's too late.
Well, that third round brings a round of applause from the crowd, because Ruairi Dalton received far more punches and punishment during the course of that second round than he did for the entirety of rounds 1 and 2.
Yeah, kept coming forward here, this Tanzanian. Wasn't a bad sequence at all from him, just walks forwards, sustained, persistent pressure. And because Dalton chose to hold his feet, gets caught with a terrific left hand there. And it was a good performance, and he definitely lost the last round, Dalton, for me anyway. He had some success, this fella, but it wasn't enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have our judges' scores. Unanimous decision in favour of the winner, moving through to the quarter-final stages. In the red corner, representing Ruairi Dalton.
So, for the second successive bout, Ruairi Dalton has beaten opposition from the continent of Africa. On this occasion, it was Tanzania's Ezra Mwanjwango who was outpointed in unanimous fashion. Ruairi Dalton is through to the last 8, commanding display in the opening 2 rounds. Change of tactics in the third round brought the man from Tanzania into it far more than he previously was. But nonetheless, Ruairi Dalton 1 win away from a place on the Commonwealth Games bronze medal podium in the 52 kilogram flyweight division.